Welcome back to some more Umineko when they cry. Yeah, last part I thought was pretty amazing. Natsuki and Eva. I think with Natsuki and Eva, both are like having a cat fight with each other. So Eva suspected Natsuki for the disappearance of Kinzo, in which it's with this whole receipt thing and the such. And it went pretty wild. And because Natsuki has the gun, like you know, she got roasted to the point that she was about to shoot Eva, and then you know, thank goodness battlers decided to step in to prevent that by suspecting Eva of doing so, and made this silly theory that Kinzo just hid under the bed. And it was like, well, there's no way the study room ain't be just an ordinary study room. So just a lot of things. And then Jessica broke into a coughing fit because of the asthma. Anyway, this disturbance had made the dangerous atmosphere up until now seem slightly unfocused. Okay, I'm gonna make sure. So I usually check back and make sure if I'm on the right part. And let's see if I do this. There we go. Yep, I'm on the right part. So this disturbance had made the dangerous atmosphere up until now seem slightly unfocused, but that's fine. That kind of battle of mutual suspicion is completely unnecessary. Well, no shit. When you think about it, finding alibis for each other and looking for the culprit is probably meaningless. After all, we're just powerless, ordinary people. And when the police come tomorrow, they'll definitely employ cutting edge techniques and investigate the case thoroughly, solving all the riddles and arresting the culprit.
はあ、確かにバトラ君の言う通りかしら。夏日姉さんが疑わしいように、私たちも疑わしさを拭えていない。それを今議論し合うのは確かに不毛ね。明日、警察に全てを任せれば済むだけの
Yeah, just
話よ。
leave it to the higher ups. Yeah, I'm gonna interrupt the dialogue because I think this was my third time re-recording it.
でも、バトラ君だって知りたいんじゃないの？犯人を。大切な人を失った痛みを思い知らせてやるために、1秒でも早く知りたいんじゃない？
それは否定しないです。これだけの上等を決めてくれやがった野郎を、たとえ一日であったとしても、のさばらしたくはない。でも、だからといって、18人の中の誰かを疑いたくはない。さっきはああ言ったが、俺は、エヴァおばさんだって疑いたくない。俺にとってのエヴァおばさんは、ちゃめっ気があって、いつも楽しくさせてくれる最高のおばさんだ。そんなおばさんと、こんな罵り合いはしたくねえ。ここにいる誰だって、そんなことは望んでねえはずさ。
But you just did that to the servants, though.
だろ、みんな。
You just did that like last couple parts ago or so, somewhere around that.
バトラ君に同じ。
Fucking hell. I swear Valerie just drives me nuts sometimes.
意味のない罵り合いだね。多分、これだけの人数が朝から一ところにずっと集まってるから、みんなストレスが溜まってるんだよ。
でしょうな。無理もないことです。言ってできるものではありませんが、なるべく皆さん、リラックスしましょう。
The parlor doesn't even look that cramped. From the look at the background. And there's fucking 12 people.
エヴァ、
How the fuck is it? How the fuck?
わしらも頭を冷やすべきとちゃうか。 レシートの件は確かにお父さんの失踪を探る上で重要な手がかりになると思うで。警察が来たら話すといいやろ。
そうね。そう。レシートの一件でつい鬼の首を取ったような気持ちになっちゃったのね。確かに夏日姉さんだけを疑うのはフェアじゃないわ。私たちだって等しく疑わしい。でもね、バトラ君、レシートの話だけは本当よ。これ忘れないでね。そしてこれがどういう意味を持つか、もう一度よく考えてみてね。
No words. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like one exception that what Eva did right there was pretty sneaky. Even though, like, it's like, oh, even though Battle is like, oh, but I'll give it a fucking 65%. Like it's a fucking project, dude. You're in a fucking mansion for crying out loud, not a fucking school. And Natsuki and Uncle Hideyoshi stood up. I'm pretty sure it said that. No, no. It looked like they planned on leaving the parlor. In the end, it's pointless for us to keep playing detectives.
結局私たちはこんな推理ごっこしても意味はないのよ。だってどうせ警察が全て明かしてくれるんですもの。
In the end, it's pointless for us to keep playing detectives. After all, the police will reveal everything anyway. That's right. Even if we don't play this detective game, the typhoon will pass, and when those lively seagulls return to the harbor, everything will settle itself. That's right. If you think about it, this kind of crime is completely trivial. It will definitely be resolved, even if we do nothing. When the seagulls cry. Ooh, what a title.
これ以上、夏日姉さんも私の顔を見ていたくはないでしょ
I'm pretty sure Natsuki already hates your
う。
guts by
私
now.
も同じよ。
Well, at least you're self-aware.
確か姉さんは昨日、ゲストハウスに帰らなくて済むようにって客室を用意してくれたのよね。あそこはバスもトイレもあるし、鍵もチェーンもかかる。横になれるベッドもあるし、主人もマリアちゃんとチャンネル争いをせずにテレビを見ることができるわ。
Reasonable. At least it's not no boring ass room. No words.
お好きになさるといいでしょう。でも、くれぐれも用心を。ありがとう、姉さん。そして余計なお世話よ。姉さんはみんなの監視をよろしくね。犯人はこの中に必ずいるんだから。そして姉さんも、自分が監視をされていることをお忘れなく。捨て台詞はそれで十分ですか？
She's like, can you just fuck off already?
ええ、十分よ。
I'm pretty sure that's what's been going on in Natsuki's mind by now.
じゃあね、夏日姉さん。源氏さん、夕食になったら呼んでね。それまでチェーンをかけて閉じこもってるわ。
No words from Hideyoshi.
源氏、カノン。お二人を客室までお送りを。結構よ。送り狼なんて嫌だもの。むしろ、私たちが部屋に行くまで誰もこの部屋を出ないでくれる方が安心よ。ジョージ行くわよ。
Is Canon that shady? From the looks of it, I highly doubt that.
僕は ここでみんなといるよ。
ジョージ、この部屋に犯人がいるのよ。そんなところにいるつもり？
He's a fucking grown-ass man. What the fuck are you trying to...
この部屋を出るということは、親族の誰かを疑うのと同じことだよ。僕は、あんな恐ろしいことができる人間が、親族にいるなんて信じない。
ジョージ、あなたからも言ってやってよ。
He's a grown man. Like what? Why are you telling him what? Why are you ordering him what he should do when?
ジョージももう一人前の男や。
Exactly.
そのジョージの仁義がこの部屋から出えへん言わせるなら、それも勝手やろ。好きにさせたれ。
父さん。
Then both left, just like that. Aunt Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi left. The only voice that called after them was the sound of the rain. Fucking hell. The parlor was being buried beneath the savage atmosphere. When I looked at the clock, I was surprised to find that it was already evening. Had we really spent that much time worrying about needless things, talking to each other, fighting each other? Yes. Feeling bored, I started scratching at my head when Maria and I made eye contact. I was a little surprised since I thought she was completely immersed in the TV. Oh boy. Maria's gonna do some memeful shenanigans again.
今なら信じるぜ。
Just like, what?
手紙も殺人もすべて、ベアトリーチェの仕業だ。いや、むしろ頼むからそうだと名乗り出てほしいぜ。19人目の仕業ってことにさせてくれ。じゃなきゃ、俺たち18人はいつまでも互いを疑い合わなくちゃならねえ。これなら、19人目の存在を信じる方がマシさ。
See, every time I re-record and hear this shit from him, it's hard to tell whether he's being delusional, whether he's just using reverse psychology, or he's just really asking for it. No words from Maria.
扉も窓も開けずに、じいさまを外へ連れ出すなんて。ベアトリーチェならお茶の子さいさいなんだろう。
Maria, after taking a single short breath, hung her head and then raised her face again. Oh boy.
そうだよ。魔女の前に扉の鍵なんて何の役にも立たないんだよ。ベアトリーチェは72柱のすべてに精通する。33位のガープは望む相手を望む場所へ瞬時に運ぶ力を与えるし。
God damn, teleportation.
彼女にとってどのような密室に閉じこもった人間だろうと連れ出すことは難しいことでも何でもないんだよ。
What a laugh.
魔女はすげえな。頼むから。もしまだ事件を起こす気なら、絶対に人間には無理なことをして、俺に19人目を、いや、魔女の存在を信じさせてくれよ。
Fucking hell, you're really asking for it.
いいよ。あったら伝えておくよ。
Crap. Nothing's made sense to me for a while now. Just when I want to believe in a 19th person, I deny it. And just when I want to believe there are only 18 people, I deny that too. Well, make up your fucking mind then. Even though I want there to be more than just the 18 people here, I can't accept the existence of that 19th person. In short, even though there are more than 18 people, there are less than 19 people. The number of people in this mansion is 19 greater than x greater than 18. So the number of people can't be represented by an integer. However, it's impossible for there to be anything after the decimal point. You shouldn't be able to show the number of people with anything but an integer. And yet, 19 is greater than x than 18. Oh my god. How do you explain the fraction less than 1? It's no wonder. That 19th person was something that couldn't be seen. That's why, since you can only write the number of people as an integer, you couldn't see that person. That witch cannot be seen, because Beatrice has no body. Therefore, she is invisible. Is there a 19th person or not? Does the witch exist or not? 19 greater than x greater than 18. Well, I just look it by the bracket though. The witch exists somewhere in that x. 19 between x, so whatever the fuck you call it. And then scene sequence. Time rolls on forward as it's 7 p.m. Sunday, October 5th, 1986. I'm gonna say it again, 7 p.m. You know, there were two who are close. The uncomfortable atmosphere continued even after those two left. I wonder where those two. Well, they left to the the guest room of the mansion instead of the guest house. It was thick with the idea that simply thinking about the culprit's identity would be the same as deciding whom to suspect. It had begun to feel like discussion of the case was itself taboo. So no one mentioned the case, at least out loud. However, those thoughts were what filled our minds. All that we couldn't say aloud made our heads feel like they were going to explode. So, at least on the outside, the parlor had once again regained its calm mood. Everything was left unsettled.
少しだけ雨足が弱まった気がするね。
Lighter. But isn't that a good thing though?
お
She's like, what?
ー、まだいっぱい降ってるよ。おー。
Here you go with that little fake persona of yours.
仮にやんだって、この島には船がねえんだしな。
No shit.
船が明日すぐに来てくれりゃいいんだがよ。洋館バカンさんもうお腹いっぱいだぜ。
Yeah, keep coping.
母さん、明日船はいつ来るのかな。
本来なら帰りの船は今日の3時に来てくれることになっていました。先方も台風が過ぎてから出直すと電話をしてくれたでしょうが、あいにく電話は普通ですから。
Well, you'll be stuck for a long ass time then.
でも向こうも子供の使いではありません。客人の方々の送迎目的だと教えてありますから。おそらく明日の朝一番で、多分9時頃に来てくれるでしょう。
It was completely black outside. Totally out of context. When I looked at the clock, I realized that it was just past 7. I was starting to get hungry. Well, hot damn. Hungry as is. In the kitchen, Kumasawa was cooking enthusiastically. She had laid out a variety of dishes, and while they didn't match the level of Goda's artful cooking, they were still quite gorgeous. It was an act of kindness from Kumasawa, who was trying to enliven everyone's low spirits with some food. Kumasawa wasn't nearly as talented as a professional cook like Goda, but she was far from unskilled. On the contrary, since she had been brought up in a fishing village, the simple food she created was sometimes highly praised. Kanon arranged the food Kumasawa had finished creating on plates under her direction. Kanon also helped in the kitchen sometimes, but since he was rarely placed in that role, he was slightly awkward, even though he tried his best. Self-conscious about the fact that he couldn't cleverly arrange the food, Kanon's expression darkened slightly, but Kumasawa smiled as though everything was fine.
きれいに盛り付けられてますよ。カノン君もお上手ですよ。
シャノン姉さんだったらもっときれいに。
Kanon stopped arranging the food for a bit and hung his head. Shannon was the one who always assisted Kumasawa in their cooking. Tonight, Kanon was doing it instead. And as he remembered Shannon's face and her brutal end, he grimaced.
今は忘れなさい。
Genji spoke kindly to Kanon as he advanced a pawn. Nanjo had escaped from the parlor once the mood had grown sour, and Genji had become his opponent in the game of chess upon Nanjo's request.
はい。今は忘れます。
それがいいだろう。
Genji purposefully refrained from facing Kanon as he spoke. He did so because he understood that it might make things tougher on Kanon if he noticed that someone was looking at his eyes. Nanjo also understood that and held back any thoughtless words.
金蔵さんもどこへ行かれたんでしょうな。
Yeah, I wonder where that old man went.
ご無事だといいのですが。わかりません。ただ、すべては親方様が望まれ、仕組まれたことのように思っています。
You believe everything has proceeded?
それを邪推することは、親方様にお仕えする家具には過ぎたことです。源氏さんは怖くないのですか？私には今夜まだ何か良くないことが起こるような気がして怖いのです。怖いことなど何も。私はただ後ろ宮家にお仕えするだけですので。
Damn, Genji, you got the balls. Nanjo sighed through his nose and made a carefully considered move. Nanjo was very slightly dubious. Could Genji possibly be thinking that he'd be left out of this? He couldn't even imagine what was happening inside this mansion, but he definitely couldn't deny the possibility that Kinzo had devised something. If you liked this island to chess, Kinzo had opened the game, and as a result, 6 pieces had been defeated. Could it be that Genji was calm because he believed he alone was on the outside of the chessboard and therefore safe? Nanjo thought about it. Isn't everyone just a piece on this chessboard, lined up equally without any exceptions? Wasn't even Genji who had gained more of Kinzo's trust than anyone? No, who was confident of his position as Kinzo's only close friend. Just another one of the pieces laid out on the chessboard?
Genji-san, 私は今夜が本当に怖いのです。無事に明日の朝を迎えられることを心より願っています。
Non-stop rain. The guest room Eva and Hideyoshi moved into had originally been built to house guests before the guest house construction. So until a few years ago, they had stayed in these rooms every family conference and were very familiar with them. Oh, now this is a background I've never seen. This room was just like a room at a hotel with a bedroom and a bathroom. So even though they were still shut in, it was far more comfortable than the parlor.
やっぱり 家族だけだとリラックスできるな。他のみんなも客室にこもって鍵をかけてりゃええんや。
Oh, it's like what Maria said. I don't think locking the doors would do anything.
夏日姉さんが客間を出るなって威張り散らしてるんだもん。誰も口答えなんてできないでしょ。あの人、ずーっと冷や飯を食ってきたから、兄さんが死んでやっと天下が来たって張り切ってんのよ。まったく、ずうずうしいったらあらしない。
まあそう言うな。夏希さんもあれで結構頑張っとるんやで。お前もそう突っかからんでもええやないか。さっきのレシートの件もあそこまでは言い過ぎやで。
だってあそこで言わなかったらもう言うタイミングがないんだもん。
Eva, sulking cutely and looking at the television, sat alongside Hideyoshi, who was lying on the bed.
でも、こうして二人きりになるのはずいぶん久しぶりよね。
Oh shit. Here goes another copyright claim. Oh well.
そうやな。思えばわしもお前も老けたもんや。ジョージが生まれてから何もかもがあっという間や。
He's got a good point. Time really flies by pretty fast.
本当にあっという間よ。子供を作るの焦りすぎたかしら。
Eva's eyes looked like they were staring off into the distance. Yes, she had thought of it as a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Her older brother Kraus had been unable to father a child for quite some time. 6 years passed after his marriage to Natsuki without any signs of pregnancy, which didn't please Kinzo at all. Eva herself had thought that, since her name would be moved outside the Ushiromiya register when she got married anyway, it didn't matter whether a successor to the headship was born or not. And then one day, she had a heavenly revelation. Or maybe it was the whisperings of the devil that she had listened to in her greed. If she could give birth to a successor first, wouldn't she be able to remain in the Ushiromiya register? If things went well, might she have a chance to inherit the Ushiromiya family herself? When she proposed this to Hideyoshi, he had approved of it instantly. This wasn't because Hideyoshi also had greedy thoughts. For Hideyoshi, who had no close relatives, it was a chance for him to feel once more the long-forgotten thing called family. So when they got married, he hadn't fussed over which last name they were to keep, and had quickly agreed to have his name entered into the Ushiromiya family register. It hadn't been easy to persuade Kinzo, but as his daughter, Eva knew Kinzo's personality well. So by choosing the time when Kinzo was most dissatisfied with Natsuki, she was magnificently able to make him accept Hideyoshi as an adopted son-in-law. Looking at Hideyoshi, who had achieved success after starting from nothing, Kinzo might have seen a little bit of himself. He quickly grew to like Hideyoshi and approved his transfer into the Ushiromiya register. George would eventually become the successor to the Ushiromiya family. They had raised him strictly with that purpose in mind. He had been worth their while and had grown into a fabulous young man who wouldn't disappoint no matter where he went. That was why he had not been permitted to fall in love with a servant like Shannon. So when she learned that Shannon was dead and the engagement was now invalid, though part of her had still been shocked by the gruesome crime. Part of her had also been relieved that her dear George wouldn't be stolen by some servant girl. No words.
私、クラウス兄さんのことが昔から嫌いだったわ。偉そうで威張ってて。自分がやがては当主になるのだと自慢してて。だから、それに一矢報いてやりたかった。でも、それは子供の頃の感情なのよ。
Man, you guys never get along. Holy shit.
でもその感情は、結局、自分の人生のほとんどを支配した。それだけならまだいい。その感情は、あなたやジョージまで巻き込んで振り回してしまった。
エヴァ、備え自分を責めるな。
Hideyoshi got up and held Eva's shoulder. She could feel a warm understanding from him.
わしはな、自分の人生はもうとっくに折り返しに入っとる。でもな、今日までの生活を後悔したことは一度もないで。一度もや。エヴァと一緒で他の男どもじゃ味わえん楽しい人生になったと思っとる。戦争で身寄りを失ったわしにもう一度家族のぬくもりを教えてくれた。だから後宮の家には感謝しとるし、わしの唯一の家だと思っとる。わしとお前が歩んできた人生にな、無駄なことなんか何もなかった。今日までほんまに楽しい人生やったで。
ありがとう、あなた。
Eva hung her head, burying her face in Hideyoshi's chest. Probably no one in the parlor could even imagine that this side of Eva existed.
感謝するのはわしや。
Yeah, and I always thought Eva would be the snideful aunt of the sort.
今日までお前と一緒にいて後悔した日なんてあらへん。
Sorry about that.
私もよ。あなたと一緒になれてよかった。
ジョージももう立派な大人や。わしが見張ってなくてもしっかり仕事ができる一人前や。で、正月あたりをのんびりモルジブあたりで過ごさんか。わしら二人水いらずや。
嫌よ。毎年年賀状の返礼で寝る暇もないとか言ってるじゃない。
次の正月だけはなしや。年賀状は見ん。黙って下のお年玉くじだけチェックするんや。今年はカラーテレビくらい当てたいで。
Damn.
やだ。モルジブでお年玉くじのチェックなんてしたくない。
じゃあそいつもなしや。水いらずのんびりでジョージが生まれる直前の新婚時代の続きをちょいとしてみんか。
それならいいわね。
モルジブはええとこらしいで。なんもない島に美しいサンゴ礁と水上コテージが並んでてな。
新婚時代の続きっていつからなの？
仕事納めしたらすぐや。旅行店に聞いてみんとわからんが、多分大晦日前には。
いや、今すぐがいい。
Eva nagged as his lips in a peevish yet flirtatious manner. The only sounds that filled the room were the distant voice of the announcer on the news, which Hideyoshi had left on, and the obnoxious pounding of the rain against the window. There was a knock on the door, and Genji-san entered. Oh, hello.
奥様、お夕食の準備が整いました。
Hell yeah.
お食事はまたこちらでよろしいですか？
Yeah, let's have some food.
ええ。ここへ運ばせなさい。南條先生はまだ厨房にいるのですか？
はい。次の一手を熟考したいとおっしゃっております。ご安心を。他の使用人たちとご一緒です。
源氏さんはじいさまの相手ができるくらいチェスが強いもんな。南條先生よりも強いらしいぜ。
Oh, you seem to have prior knowledge to chess.
そうなんだ。昔相手をしてもらったことがあるけど、あれは勝たせてくれたのかな。
What?
マリア、もうすぐ飯だそうだぜ。しかし、よく一日中テレビを見ていて飽きねえな。
Well, I mean, can you always... When has anyone watched TV and never get bored?
いつもテレビいっぱい見てるから平気。
Okay, then.
マリアちゃんはテレビっ子なんだね。
食事だから机の上を片付けないとダメだぜ。
Oh, man. But I'm still in the middle of that cartoon marathon of the sort. Like, I don't know. There's usually time. I don't know if it's Saturday cartoons or something around during the night. Look, Toonami used to be my is usually my favorite thing back then before I don't watch cable anymore. Earlier, we had torn several pages out of Maria's notebook, and there was now a mess where everyone had been drawing together. Jessica began cleaning that up quickly. Still, everyone here really can draw. I never guessed.
源氏、エヴァさんたちにもせめて食事くらい一緒にしないかとお声をかけなさい。どうせ断るでしょうが。
How are they gonna eat?
かしこまりました。
お父様の次はエヴァさんですか。つくづく後ろ宮家の食卓には全員が揃いませんね。
Natsuki felt her headache start throbbing again and lightly held her temples. The distance from the kitchen to the parlor wasn't that great. So Genji had gone and come back by himself, but the guest room was a little farther away. Natsuki had warned him to avoid being alone whenever possible. And just now, Nanjo had also admonished him, saying it would be better if he held a little more concern for his safety. Kanon accompanied Genji, and the two of them went to visit Eva and Hideyoshi in their guest room. Genji knocked on the door.
エヴァ様、秀吉様。お夕食の準備が整いました。
Come on, you two. It's time to get some food. He waited a short while for them to come out, but there was no response. Uh-oh. No, don't tell me there's something bad gonna happen.
源氏様、これは。
What? Kanon pointed under the door. A Western-style envelope had been inserted under eye. Normally, when something was inserted this way, it'd be interpreted as a message from someone outside to someone in the room. Oh shit. So since this might be a private note meant for Eva and Hideyoshi, it was not something that Kanon and Genji were supposed to take interest in. But this Western envelope was one of Kinzo's, the same kind as the one Maria had taken out last night. It surprised everyone with no words. What?
間違いない。親方様の封筒だ。
What the hell is it doing there?
あるいは。
Even though this was one of Kinzo's envelopes, the letter Maria read aloud the previous night hadn't come from Kinzo. This can't be. No. Genji continued knocking a little harder and called out in a loud voice.
エヴァ様、エヴァ様、源氏でございます。いらっしゃいますか。お返事をお願いいたします。エヴァ様。
But there was no response from inside. Sometimes when the servants went to call some guests for a meal, the guests would be sleeping so deeply that they wouldn't wake up. In times like that, the servants would stick a letter in the door to show that it was time to come out and leave the guest be. But despite that, Genji beat even harder on the door and called out Eva's name. However, there was no answer. Kanon stuck his ear up to the door, held his breath, and listened for any sounds coming from inside.
テレビの音らしきものが。
Oh shit. My bad. It's just my alarm going off as always.
でも気配が感じられません。
Well, are you two gonna leave it at that, or are you gonna bash down the door and see what's going on?
お部屋は空っぽかも。
Genji took out a handkerchief and, careful not to touch it with his bare hands, gently pulled out the envelope that had been stuck under the door. It was sealed with a deep red sealing wax. Without a doubt, the mark on that sealing wax had come from the Ushiromiya family head's ring.
エヴァ様、エヴァ様、どうかお返事を。もうお部屋にはいらっしゃいませんか。
But there was still no answer. There was a chance that those two were aimlessly walking around the mansion. This was the home Eva had grown up in. There was plenty of reason to think that she had gone out on a casual stroll. Genji groped around in his pocket and pulled out the bundle of keys, which contained the key that would open the guest room.
源氏様。
Well, we got no choice. We just gotta find out. Kanon also understood what this meant. They would sometimes unlock the door so they could go in and do things like make beds, but only after they made sure the guests were out. To unlock the door for any other reason, and especially to do so when there was a chance the guests hadn't given permission, might still be in there, was an action unbecoming of a servant. but Genji had decided if the only problem had been that his knock hadn't received a reply, he wouldn't have gone this far. But the envelope under the door was doubtlessly one of Kinzo's, or rather, one of the Western envelopes with the Ushiro Miya family head. After last night, the sender in this envelope could be someone other than Kinzo. If this letter had been sent by someone
エヴァ
else,
様、申し訳ございません。お部屋を失礼させていただきます。
after giving that final notice, Genji stuck one of the keys from the bundle into the keyhole. Oh shit, man. Well, actually, this might be a good cliffhanger. Alright, sorry, but we will have to pick this off for the next part. So, like, comment, subscribe. Find out what happens next. You know, what's going on in that empty room. Alright. Have a good one.